Hello and welcome to the DC United Kingdom podcast. This is season 3 and episode 3. And I'm your host, James Graham. As you'll see, alongside me, I have one of, if not my favourite player to pull on the DCU jersey. He started off his career in 2010, making over 250 appearances for the club and 8 senior appearances for the US men's national team. We have a chant for him which only goes by 2 words, and they are Bill Hamid. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
So I had to get the chant in there in the intro. It had to be done. I noticed that you guys have just started your pre-season training, the volunteering week back. How has that been for the first couple of days?
It's been good. A lot of fixes, including the coaching staff, the first and the second coach. So, it's an adjustment period, getting to know them, getting to know the new players and the new system, the new house rules, all that jazz. So it's been good so far. We're only 2 days in, but we'll see what we're capable of building.
Yeah, it's certainly an exciting time from a fan's point of view. I know I had Anand on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about his philosophy, and we talked about his style of play and the fact that there's going to be 1 million goals this year because he just likes to have goals in his team. How excited are you for him joining the club?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think, a new coach, a new sort of culture, way of life, I guess is going to be implemented. So, it's already starting to take shape, take its form. So, I'm excited to see what he's capable of building. There are still some senior players on the team that can help lead the way with him. So, me being one of them, I'm excited for what we're capable of doing. And he seems like a very, very bright young man. So I think that new fresh blood is going to do us well.
Yeah, and as you rightly said, you are one of the more senior players in the team, and you've gone through the life under Ben Olsen. You've had that interim coach with Chad Ashton there as well, and now Hernan. So your experience that you've had so far, are you going to be using that to the younger heads in the team? Are you going to take them under the wing a little bit more this year, or is it going to be business as usual?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking to step hopefully into more of a captain role.
Okay.
That's my goal. So, it's been a big transition with the new coaching, and the off season was very long. So, a lot of these young players, I guess maybe they are accustomed to it with the college season, and how that format takes its shape. So a long break for them should be good, especially after the crew of young players that we had that were rookies. Now they're in their sophomore year. So hopefully I can continue being a guiding light for them, one of the guiding lights in the locker room, which I take that on my shoulders and I carry that, and I'm open to that. But not only that, the newer players that are older and still kind of fresh to the team, getting acclimated to the city, getting acclimated to the way of life in Washington, D.C., places to live, places to eat when things kind of calm down a little bit. And, I take that on, and I kind of bask in that opportunity to be a leader, and kind of help guys get accustomed to this city.
So you've just briefly spoken about places to eat. So for you, where is the best place to eat in DC?
To eat, I'd probably go with sushi. And for sushi, I would probably recommend a fairly new spot called Oku. Oku is very close to RFK Stadium, and it's unbelievable. Mainly Japanese style food, but they have other forms of Asian style culinary cuisine. So they have Korean, their Korean barbecue. They have Chinese, but they're mainly Japanese, and more so the ambience inside, the designs, the art,
Mm.
Layout, all that jazz is perfect to take family, perfect to take a loved one, or perfect just to go hang out.
Nice. There we go. There's some new spot to go to because the thing that I always see. I mean, obviously, I'm not in DC. I'm here over here in England. I've been
Mm.
to DC a couple of times, but the one place that I've not been able to go to is Ben's Chili Bowl, and I think that's quite possibly the most famous place to go to in DC, isn't it?
Yeah, in terms of a landmark, not necessarily to eat, but in terms of a landmark, I think that's one of the places that you should go to kind of get a sense of what DC is about. The murals that they have around Ben's Chili Bowl is something that a lot of people take pride in. And obviously, just the name of it itself, Ben's Chili Bowl, it holds a lot of weight in Washington D.C. Their past political stances, their investment in community and in the sports culture here in Washington D.C. is very massive. So I would definitely recommend Ben's Chili Bowl as just a landmark, somewhere to go take some photos, and be basking in the city.
Nice. So moving back to a bit of soccer stuff. Recently, we've had the new away jersey recently announced. Any takes on that? Are you a fan of the new away jersey? Better than last season's and the seasons before?
The marble jersey?
Yeah.
I can appreciate it, because it's got the red, white, and the blue. Washington, D.C. being the capital of the country. That definitely holds some weight. And I think now is a time, even though with all the injustices, all the diseases that going around, a sense of unity in this country can go a long way. So, having put on that red, white, and blue jersey, I think is very important. And I like the jersey. I like it. I definitely think it's unique. Doesn't necessarily represent the team and the organization and our colors. Not necessarily, but you see around the world of football that a lot of teams, they change up their colors every now and then away from their natural club's historical colors. So it's okay. And I like the jersey a lot. So, yeah.
Yeah. The thing that always baffles me is for yourself anyway, the keeper jersey. You don't really see too many changes year on year. And I think there was a tweet that Chris Seitz sent out saying about how we should have a cherry blossom keeper shirt. Would you be up for that?
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think that's something that would be unique to our city, obviously. I think if we had a cherry blossom jersey, I think that would sell 10 times more.
Then it would be sold out every day.
Yeah, sure, at least in the city or in this region. If we had a cherry blossom jersey, that would sell out immediately because people like that. People like things that are unique to their own city, and something that we really like, especially the timing of it. Also, it's usually at the very beginning of the spring, which is the very beginning of the season. So if people saw that there was a cherry blossom DC United jersey for marketing purposes, I think that's something that should.
It baffles me that there's never been one. I've seen mock-ups through the years, but just never. I think a keeper top would go really well because it can be used both home and away.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, we at the beginning there we talked about Nan and him coming in and the transitional year. From your perspective, how do you see this season going? Is it going to be a transitional year? Should we temper our expectations, or should we look to be going right to the top?
Well, my goal is to help this team get right to the top. My goal is to help this club win a championship. It's my goal for over a decade now, and that would be a dream come true for me, being a boy from this city, to bring a championship to this city. Now, in terms of where the club stands right now, it's interesting. A new regime, a new set of players. It's going to be interesting. I think the first half of the season will will, maybe tell our fate. But at a lot of times, that fall time frame, a lot of teams start to gain a lot of momentum. So it'll be interesting. The goal should be to get in the playoffs and keep trucking along from there. And then I think for them, now that they've hired a coach, they're gonna have. I'm sure they're gonna use the summer period and the summer movement of transactions to kind of take its shape and see what they're capable of accomplishing. And I think it'll be a happy medium between a transition year and trying to go for it all. So that happy medium is obviously it's not setting your bar at the top, but I want to be a champion. I want to be a winner. Second place sucks, and third place is even worse. So I want to be a champion.
Yeah, that's refreshing and nice to hear. So let's take a look back at when you started your career. So you said you've been wanting to bring this championship for the best part of a decade. Your debut was back in 2010 and against Kansas City Wizards back at the RFK. Can you remember that game? And if you can, what was that feeling like pulling on the jersey for the first time and walking out onto that field?
It was very nerve-wracking. I think I was about to cry during the walkout. I don't know if it was because I was scared or if it was because I was just so honored, but it was probably a happy medium. And the game was kind of a blur. It just kind of happened. Everything I did was just mostly instinctual. I wasn't necessarily thinking.
Yeah.
I was just doing. And that was, I remember everything about that game, from the saves to the goal I conceded against Kai Kamara, who was subbed on late, was a good friend of mine till this day. I remember all of that, all of those moments. Troy Perkins, the other goalkeeper, being the first one to come up to me and congratulate me. Those moments, those memories will live on with any player, their debut. So I take that. I'm gonna run with that debut for the rest of my life and tell my grandkids about that, hopefully one day.
Nice. And you've made another debut for another club in between your times at DC. For those fans who don't know, Bill, you spent some time in Europe and you spent over in Denmark at FC Midtjylland.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I pronounced that right.
Midtjylland. You did.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll take it. What was that like coming over to Europe? Obviously, a new way of life for you, and a new style of football. What was that like?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And obviously, that goal is not dead for me to continue rising my career. Goalkeeper kind of bloom a little later. And I know I'm finding my pride, especially with my technique, my positioning, my passing ability. That's definitely not a dead goal of mine. My goal is to continue ascending and get to the top league in Europe. So to come over there and to get a sense to win a championship with FC Midtjylland was a beautiful, beautiful thing. It was definitely a big transition, having never left home before, to live on my own. I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about football in general, how it's different than the structure, the format that Major League Soccer provides. And then learning new systems, a possession-heavy team, a team that plays with three in the back, a three-back system, either 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 is what that club plays. So learning that system, learning how to be effective and kind of, they mentioned the term sweeper keeper, but instead of being a sweeper keeper, just being an extra outlet for your team in possession, and being capable of breaking lines with your passing ability. I learned so much about those different ways of playing, and man, what a growth period. But mostly off the field, just learning myself as a man, as a person in this world, learning a new culture, trying to learn a new language, trying to adapt to what the universe brought to me. That just made me so much stronger and man, I will remember those moments for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Did you manage to learn any Danish?
Yeah, I did. I just forgot it all.
Oh.
It's not an easy language to learn. I remember the highs. I remember the thank yous. I remember, a little bit here and there, but I just forgot it. I kind of gathered while I was there. So, tough language, but great country of people.
Yeah. And so you've had, like I said at the start, you've played over 250 times for the club, for DC United. Anything in those appearances that stand out to you as a highlight? What's the best moment you've had with the club so far?
Well, 2014 was a great year. I think we were robbed by the Major League Soccer referees to keep us out of the finals. Houston ended up going through, but they did not deserve it. Rafael got pulled down one-on-one with the goalkeeper from behind, and they gave the center back a yellow card, kept him in the game. So 2014 was a highlight for me. Okay. Winning the Open Cup was a massive highlight, obviously, to bring a League Cup, which is what they call it in the UK, not necessarily a Premier League a soccer championship, but to bring the Open Cup to the club was massive. To do it away, also to do it at Real Salt Lake, very tough place to play, a very possession-heavy team, and we held the fort down to win 1-0 off of a Lewis Neal match winner. So those were some massive memories, and I think every single day, walking into the club, walking into the changing room, meeting new people. Making new friendships and relationships that have lasted till this day, and then seeing how the club connects to the city itself. All of that has been a highlight for me, and it's been a big part of my life and the reason as to why I am who I am today.
Yeah, and you rightly say every day it seems to be getting better for the club as well. When we look ahead to the summer, we've got new training facilities coming in. How cool is that going to be to have something dedicated and specific where you've got not just DC United, but you've got the Spirit and you've got Loudoun United there as well?
I think it's long overdue, obviously. The RFK and the training pitch at RFK did us well for a very long time, but I think that it's long overdue, something that other clubs already have established. And I think that would help the trajectory of our play on the field. Without having a training facility, that just holds our play on the field back. And I think that's something that we need to expedite if we. But it's something that I know the ownership has worked hard on. I think that they deserve a lot of credit for the changes that they've made coming into the club. Helping a stadium get over the line, and now hopefully getting this training facility over the line and opening it up for all three teams to continue to grow and for it to help grow soccer in this region.
Yeah. So speaking of stadiums, what was better to play in, the RFK or Audi Field in terms of atmosphere? RFK, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going RFK on this one. But I'm an experienced one, so some may or may not understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. But RFK holds a special place in my heart. The stand at Audi don't bounce like the stands at RFK. RFK is a big open circle, and it is in a very unique area in the city that I think a lot of people have appreciated, even though a lot of people also thought it was quite dangerous. But, it's just like English football. Some places have their stadiums right in the heart of their toughest neighborhoods or some of their grittiest neighborhoods, because it builds that sort of mentality that it's going to be a war zone when you walk into this arena. And I kind of appreciated that. And, no knock on Audi Field, beautiful arena, and also a very thriving part of the city. So I'm just thankful that we do have a new arena that fits the standards of what professional footballers should be playing in.
It's a beautiful. Unfortunately, I never got to experience RFK, but obviously the amount of times that people have spoken to me about it, I can imagine. Obviously, watching the clips on YouTube and highlights and things like that, you can just see. And the way that stand bounced, how is that past any health and safety?
I don't know. Every time I bounced, like a new raccoon ran out of there. So it was very unique. The stands never broke, but they gave the fans something that was they couldn't find that in another stadium, and I think that was just special.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. We're going to move on to the getting to know DCU section. So this is getting to know you a little bit more about your soccer career, but more importantly about you, Bill, as a person. So first up is, I know we've kind of already spoken about it, but how long have you actually been a professional soccer player for?
Since 2009.
Since 2009. So it took you a little while to make your debut then, because that was in 2010.
Yeah, it took me a year. I signed in 2009. And from there, it was just every day, repetition, training with the team, working. I was only capable of playing CONCACAF international matches. At the time, we were in the Champions League. So because we won the Open Cup the year prior. So those matches I was able to play in, Major League Soccer matches I wasn't. So it wasn't until 2010, a new coach came in, Cardinalfo, and he gave me the opportunity to play May 5th.
And what a time it was, and what a career it has been since then. I mean, the next two questions I normally ask, I don't need to ask because it's just DC United related stuff. But to you, obviously, a local lad growing up playing for your hometown team, what makes DC United special? So for the fans who aren't from DC and who are new to the club, what makes them so special?
The history is one thing that makes it extremely special. The people that helped build the foundation of this club makes it a real brother and sisterhood. There are so many people that paved the way for this club to thrive in its early stages, to continue building, to make its ties within the community. And the ties within the community are massive. So, even outside of DC, when you think about in DC, the Black community, the Latin community, the Caucasian community, all the communities that are based in this city have some sort of tie to the club in some way, shape, or form, because of the connections that the club made early on. And that was a very beautiful thing to see and to kind of learn throughout the years, because there's so many people in the city, whether they are a lot older and they work in restaurants or they work in their neighborhood at a bodega or something along those lines, they have some sort of recollection of the past. Somebody from their country that played here, I know people, Bulgarians that in this area that remember the time of Stoichkov. I know Bolivians that still think that Jaime Moreno is on the team. There's the African community have a lot of respect for how they gave an opportunity to Freddie Adu at a very young age. And then you continue traveling outside the city into Alexandria and whatnot, and the Honduranian community. They are the same. They really appreciate DC United helping create the legend that is Andy Nahar. Every community that I know around this area has some sort of tie to the area, and Ben Olsen obviously has been a massive catalyst for this community to really tie into DC United, and Dave Casper has been a massive catalyst for bringing in players that represent the mixing pot that is Washington DC. So I think that's the most special thing about this club.
That is something. That is something else. I love that. Every little bit of what you said, the community aspects, it sums it up very, very nicely. Your squad number 24 at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Any reason why you've chosen that number?
Well, I chose it because of Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
But my number was 28. 28 is the second, and the second and the eighth letters of the alphabet are B and H. So that's why I had 28 from the beginning, from 2009 on. But when I left for Denmark, Joseph Mora came in, and he chose 28 as a squad number. I tried to buy it back from him. I tried to give him gifts. I tried to beg him. But he said he has an emotional tie to the number. It's his mother's favorite number. So let me know that. I just said, man, Joseph, man, keep that and run with it. And I respect you so much for doing that for your mother. And I chose 24 for Kobe Bryant, one of my favorite athletes of all time. So I'm taking 24, and I'm gonna have that Black Mamba mentality anytime I step on the field.
I never knew that about 20. I never put that 2 and 2 together for the B and H. There you go. I've learned something new on this show. So going in players from the past or the present, if you could play alongside anyone right now, who would that be and why?
I would probably take I played with Jaime.
Yeah.
2009. So I'd either take Jaime back or I'd take Eddie Pope. Because Eddie Pope will help lock up this defense. That leader mentality, that tough tackling, strong in the air, communication to every single line in front of him and around him. That would be a beauty to play with. We do have that, but just to see how he kind of took his teammates, held them accountable, and led the team from the back was special as a young kid. And I would also take Jaime, because Jaime's ability to find the back of the net without necessarily even having it to just kick the ball as hard as possible or smash the ball through the net. His placement was fantastic. You just knew which way his body was moving, which way the ball was coming, and how to manipulate the ball without smashing it and keeping it away from the goalkeeper to find the net with ease, with comfort. And that ability you don't find very often. It doesn't just come around, and it's hard to find in the marketplace for players. So if I was to take two, it'd be both of those.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly a diamond in the rough, because his previous club, which is the team I follow here in England, Middlesbrough, he didn't do that great. But somehow he managed to find his feet in MLS and has become one of the all-time legends. Sorry?
Different environments, Middlesbrough, were they in the Premier League at the time?
We just got promoted.
Okay. It's different environments, that's a big transition to make, from Tucker at that time to Middlesbrough. Obviously they saw the talent, they saw the ability, and the potential. But maybe it just didn't pan out. For some players, they thrive in some leagues, and some players they and in other leagues they don't thrive. So, it is. But I bet he and Middlesbrough were better for that relationship.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, whenever I speak about Jaime Moreno to fellow Borough supporters, there's never a bad word said about it, even though he didn't have the best of times at the club. He was always like a bit of a cult hero in essence, which I think it's just it's so nice. And again, I've people I speak to who've known him personally. He's such a nice guy, and
but it's also good that he's from the other side of the world. He's from Bolivia. So, giving him that opportunity, he can now fly the Middlesbrough flag over in Bolivia. The young Bolivians will know about Jaime Moreno, know that he played in the Prem with Middlesbrough, and that's something that gives them motivation to hopefully play for Middlesbrough one day themselves.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no to that right now, especially with the way we're playing. Last time I looked, we were getting beat 1-0 by Coventry City. Not good at all. So next one is always a good one because it's about fantasy six-a-side teams. So over here, it's quite a big thing. It's a very massive recreational sport. So I'd like to ask, who would you have in your six-a-side team? And we tend to go with, obviously, the keeper, 2 defenders, midfielder, and 2 forwards.
They have to be from the club?
Say that again?
They have to be from the club?
No, literally anyone. This is your fantasy team.
Okay, I would have Pepe, because he's not afraid to haul back and kick the living daylights out of somebody. And I would have, unfortunately, Van Dijk, because I'm a Manchester United fan. Then I would take 2 midfielders. I'd probably go with Ronaldinho and Seedorf. Clarence Seedorf. And then 6-a-side. So just 1 striker, right?
Indeed.
I'm gonna go with Van Nistelrooy. Van Nistelrooy. Yeah.
Great player.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Now there's a few names that have not cropped up on this. Pepe has never cropped up. Van Dijk has multiple times.
Yeah.
Seedorf hasn't, and Van Nistelrooy definitely hasn't either. So
yeah. Some people are too commercial. They go with the regular. They don't know football too much.
I mean, it's usually Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe.
I wanted to keep them out. Those are too commercial. I want to dig in crates a little bit. Yeah, find some class.
Yeah, right. I mean, we're still going on soccer side things, but we've talked about highlights previously. But what for you has been your greatest game? I mean, for me, your greatest game in recent memory anyway was a game against Toronto back in 2018. I think it was it 2008? It might be 2019 because it was when we wore the white shirts for the first time, and I think you saved like about 35 efforts or something like that and kept the clean sheet. What's been your top game for you personally in terms of any particular great saves or anything like that?
I would either say New York Red Bulls. There's been a couple games where I've completely had blinders. There was one game in the playoffs. Actually, the game in the playoffs where I had where I got a red card was a really good game. I was actually quite well. There's also another Red Bulls game I could think of in the playoffs where I had against an amazing save against Dax McCarty. But I would probably say the game against Montreal, where we had 1 shot on goal, and we won, and we scored by the way of Chris Rolfe, and they had, I think, 14 shots, and we kept the clean sheet. So, that would probably be one of my favorites. Having 1 shot on goal for the team, but then we still walk away 1-0 winners. That shows you the resilience of the defenders and of myself.
And it's efficiency up top.
Exactly. 100%.
Okay, so we're going to move away from soccer now. So what hobbies do you have outside of soccer? What do you do?
I'm a boxer. I do a lot of boxing. Yeah, a lot of boxing work, I think, helps me in terms of my strength and my quickness, my core strength. I'm a big foodie, which maybe isn't the best. So I try a lot of restaurants. I'm big in the cuisine scene here in the city, and then I do DJing also. I like playing music. I like listening to music, different types of music, and I like the art form of DJing. So I go on long walks. I got my dog right here, so I like going on long walks around the city. And those are just some of the things or most of the things actually that I do in my free time.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Now,
Yeah.
you just said you're a big foodie, so you just go to restaurants, but do you cook yourself?
Nah, man.
Huh? You just spend that money on going to restaurants instead then?
Nah, my girl does the cooking. I just sit there and smell it. And inhale while it's in the process. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is your favorite cuisine then?
I'm probably just gonna go with Italian. A nice homemade Italian meal with a glass of wine, a nice Italian wine, is really the end all be all for me. I also really like African food. Also, African food has great flavor. It's quite heavy, but great flavor, and it's very unique. I think a lot of people that try it really like it, and that's both West African and East African food. Okay. So those scenes are big in Washington, D.C., especially the East African cuisine scene. It's based around a lot of they have this dough called injera. They call it injera bread. Okay. And it comes with a lot of vegetables, a lot of peppers, sweet, not always spicy peppers, but sweet peppers, spicy peppers if you want, tomato-based sauces with different types of meat in them, lentils, salads. So it's quite healthy in a sense. And there's places like I'm looking out of my window, and there's a place right here. It's very popular. It's a very big scene in this city. So it's something that I enjoy.
Nice. So, and again, with your hobbies, you said you like your music, you DJ. So, if you were stranded on a desert island and you only had the one album to listen to for the entire time you're there, what album would that be and why?
I'd probably take a Bob Marley album with me because you got to if you're stranded on the island, you got to keep some form of. So that's a great way of remaining happy while you're pissed off that you're stranded on the island. So yeah, or you'd be happy if you're stranded. I don't know, but that's just happy music to me. So
yeah.
I mean,
this island could have a nice chair. It could have a coconut. You could be sitting there and just have a nice drink.
Yeah, and it'd be perfect with Bob Marley music.
Exactly. Why not?
Yeah.
So, right. Next section of this is called This or That Questions. So you got two options. You got to pick the best. First one is Neuer or Alisson?
Neuer.
I mean, after now knowing that you're a Man United fan, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the original sweeper keeper as well.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. Next one. Now, I'm not so sure how you're going to go with this one because you're a local lad, but would you rather beat the Red Bulls or win MLS Cup?
MLS Cup. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. Yeah. But you got to beat them. You got to beat them on the way. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and again, this next one, I don't know how you're going to go because you've said both words. Is it soccer or is it football?
It's football to me. But every once in a while, I sneak the word soccer in there. So.
Oh, that's so nice to hear an American using the term football. Shutout or clean sheet?
Clean sheet.
I still don't understand why it's called shutouts over in America.
Yeah.
I'm sure one day we'll find out. Now, this is going to be a tricky one for you, Bill. Devin McTavish or Dave Johnson?
No, I'm going Dave on this one, man. All day. Devin has.
Oh, Devin. He's never been picked for this one.
No, he's got no.
I mean, Dave is a bit of a legend, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I love him. He's absolutely awesome. Cool. They were nice and quick for this and that questions. Final section. the teammate questions. Now, these always bring up some corker of answers there, some brilliant stuff in this. But being a music lover like yourself, who's got the worst taste in music in the dressing room?
Felipe.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really bad. I just heard it like 2 or 3 days ago in the gym, and I kind of wanted to kick his phone out of the dock. I was like, what is going on here? Like, your music is absolutely terrible. But he's like a little older, and his music kind of mirrors his personality, and it's not a bad thing. It's just like not like what gets you going. So it's okay. It's everybody's different, but it is.
So, just moving slightly away on a little bit of a tangent, what music gets you going for a game? What do you put on to get you in the zone?
Honestly, there's a few different genres, but if I want to get going, I got a playlist that I make that consists of guys like Drake, Rick Ross. I like a group called Jungle. They're out of California, and yeah, hip hop music, stuff that gets the blood pumping. You know, and some African music to different parts of Africa that I really enjoy their music, and yeah. I like the Eagles. I like OAR. OAR is a group out of Maryland, a rock group out of Maryland. My music faves kind of vary in terms of genre. So yeah.
I found out Hernan is a rock genre fan. So you might have some rock in the room. You never know. Who's got the best sense of humor?
I'd probably say Mora's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mora's kind of funny. I think the kids are funny too, man. The three kids, Moses, Griffin, and Kevin. Just hearing them talk and hearing their not that they're immature, but just their youthfulness. I think that kind of gives everybody a nice giggle. So I give them the sense of humor because the rest of us we quite get serious way too often. So
yeah,
I give it to them. Yeah.
Are you finding that they're saying words that you just don't understand as well?
No, I understand it because we all grew up in the same area, you know, so I understand the lingo somewhat. But some other people at all. Yeah.
Fair. Kids. So this next question is thrown up one particular person throughout the entire season and series that we've been doing it. Who's got the worst fashion sense?
Chris Seitz.
Oh, that's new.
He's a dad. He's a dad of 5. So there's no flashiness to that. There's like to being a real dad, you know, like, you know, it's like straightforward. It's like, I know what I'm wearing, you know, there's not really like, I'm about to be swagged today, you know, like he just doesn't got that, you know, doesn't have that. So ain't nothing wrong with that. Just if you're talking fashion sense, you know, like, yeah, I'm going with Seitz on this one.
Oh, have you found now? We've got a couple of fairly new dads in the team. Steve Bam Bam, Julian Gressel. Have they been moving towards that style of clothing now?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it happens.
Fatherhood is just changing their whole mindset. It's no longer about how stylish I look. It's about how stylish my kid looks. So, you know, which is quite understandable, you know. But we're not really judging the locker room, so it's all good.
Any of the players in particular a bad dancer?
I don't know. I haven't really seen these guys dance yet. No. Last year wasn't a year of a lot of dancing in the locker room. So
no.
And
there was a lot of separation, wasn't there?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of dancing outside the locker room either. So they're gonna have to pass on this question. I don't know who's a bad dancer. Yeah.
So just going on, obviously, what happened last year with obviously the pandemic and the separation. What was that like for you compared to obviously being in the locker room with the whole squad? From what I know, you've been separated into 3 or 4 different players per area. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough for everybody. Obviously trying to keep our families safe, keep ourselves healthy, without going in, without having the capabilities of even getting gym equipment, so on and so forth. It was very hard to see people dying at an alarming rate. Was quite difficult. So coming back together kind of gave a slight sense of normalcy and helped us. I'm sure helped a lot of players around this country psychologically, or around the world psychologically, to just get back around people, be social, talk, have a supporting cast, because everyone was dealing with a lot. Everyone around the world was dealing with a lot during these times. So it felt good to get back in and to, get close to the guys again.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was a bit of a serious theme to that. So I'm going to go with that on the next question. Who's the most serious in the dressing room?
Felipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just won't stop training. Obviously he's trying to come back from a knee injury right now, which I respect for going through, but sometimes he's just got to sit down, man. He's just training too hard. Like he's training way too hard. He's just destroying his body. But the more you train, the better you perform, and I respect him for that.
Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, he said you were the most serious in the dressing room.
Yeah, when the whistle blows, I'm a killer. So I don't really. There's no time for smiling. Even on the pitch for training, I don't really smile a lot because it's time to work. So you might catch me here and there, maybe a little smirk on my face, a little smile to spread some love. But when it comes to performing or in training, I'm barking a lot. So
we've noticed
that's my kind of how I move.
We noticed you are quite loud, especially the fact that there's been no fans in the grounds. We've noticed you. We've heard you.
Yeah.
It's been good. It's like having our own commentary.
Yeah. True.
Last question. Let's end it on a bit of a fun note. What's the most embarrassing moment that's happened in the dressing room?
The most embarrassing moment for who? For anyone?
For anyone, yeah. Let's have a bit of fun.
I think once somebody was trying to park their car. I think it was a staff member was trying to park their car in the parking lot in the morning, and I guess they were just tired or just wasn't driving properly. But then they came in and said that they got in an accident with somebody's car in the parking lot. Ends up being a player. We go out to look at the car, and he's completely scraped the whole side from the front to the tail of their car, and we're just like, no way! Like, how do you manage to do that? Like, that's embarrassing as a staff member. You just banged up your whole side of the car and a player's side of the car, and it was in a parking lot. Like, how do you get in an accident with a parked car in a parking lot? It just makes a lot of sense. So, that's probably one of them. There's been some pranks, some flex all in the underwear pranks every once in a while. Somebody put some clothes in a cold tub and then put the clothes into the freezer. So by the end of practice, their clothes were completely frozen. there was once in the past, there was a crew that would, if anybody wore designer shoes to training, like really, really high end designer shoes over $1,000, they would take the shoes and find like a very, very high area close to the locker room at RFK. And they tie them. You know how you throw shoes on the electric cords in the street?
Yeah.
They would tie these really expensive shoes with the laces on this high. So they would need a ladder to go and climb up the ladder and untie the shoes. So that used to be popular. A lot of pranks. Roaches. Whenever we'd find roaches in RFK, somebody would take them and leave them in somebody's cleat. So whenever they were putting on their cleats for training, they'd mush a roach, and a dead roach, by the way, a dead roach in their shoe. But they'd take off their cleat like with that and find a dead roach. So I think I used to be the culprit most of these times. So telling some of my old pranks, and I probably won't be bringing them back anytime soon.
Oh, come on. You've got to. It's going to have a bit
There's no roaches at Audi Field.
Yeah, true. I mean, that would be a bit scary if we found roaches already there.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah. Nah, cool. Well, that's the end of the questions. As always, I want to ask if there's a message that you want to give to the fans for this 2021 season.
Well, I just wish we could play in front of you guys. I hope that everyone's doing well. Everyone is healthy and taking care of themselves. Keep hope alive. If you're going through something right now mentally, it's a tough time for everybody. So, tap into your spirituality and continue taking care of your health. And I promise we're going to get together soon. And when we get together, that's going to be a beautiful day. Fans and players alike at Audi Field, representing the city, representing ourselves and this club. Once again, it's something that I look forward to, and I can't wait to see all you season ticket holders. Shout out to the Barra Brava, Screaming Eagles, all the fans of old, all the new fans. When we get back together, it's going to be a special day. So, we're going to be on the field this year, performing to the best of our abilities, leaving our hearts out there. And I'm going to be one of the catalysts leading the way. So if you can, keep us in your thoughts, keep us in your prayers, and Vamos United.
Couldn't have ended that any better myself. Thank you, Bill, for coming on to today's show. It's been an absolute blast having you on. Literally, one of my favorite players at the club right now, and pretty much of all time, up there with the likes of Jaime Moreno, Echeverri. You are a club legend in my eyes. To the fans out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in if you're watching on YouTube. And until next time, Vamos United.